Hello and welcome to the course Road to 2000. What can you find inside this course? So I'm about to teach you how you can get to 2000 rating points on any popular platform like chess.com or lichess.org. Regardless of where you are on your chess journey, whether you're a complete beginner, you're an intermediate, advanced player, it doesn't matter. You can tune in at any moment you like, suitable for your level, and learn something new, hopefully. So I'll begin from the chess basics and we'll move on to more complex and advanced topics in the future. And for now, the board has 64 squares. In those 64 squares, we have two opposing armies. We have the white pieces and the black pieces. Each player has 16 pieces at their own disposal, namely 8 pieces and 8 pawns. If you're starting with the white pieces, you have the first move, and let's explain the names of the chess pieces. So this is a pawn, this is a rook, white has, both black and white have 8 pawns, both sides have 2 rooks each, both sides have 2 knights each, and then 2 bishops, 1 queen, and 1 king. The queen is the most powerful piece, but the king is the most important piece, as it will be explained later on in the videos. For now, the board has 64 squares, out of which 32 of them have some piece on them in the starting position. Now, how do pieces move? First, we have the most powerful piece, the queen. The queen can move in any direction, so basically like this. First of all, in lines in any direction, but also in diagonals too. So basically, if it stands like in the center, central squares, which are these 4 squares, central part of the board, it can move to, well, plenty of squares at her disposal. We have the rook. The rook can move only in these directions. Unlike the queen, it can't move diagonally. So the queen could also move in these directions too. The bishop. The bishop, in difference to the rook and in comparison to the queen, can only move on diagonals. The knight. The knight is a more tricky piece, and it's quite interesting to see how it moves. It can move 2 squares in any direction and then left or right. So, for example, 1, 2, and left or right. For example, here, this is a possible move. So I will draw the squares that the knight can actually go to. 8 squares from this position. The pawn. The pawn can actually move forward only, so something like this, and it can capture sideways if there is an opponent piece on those squares. The special ability of the pawn allows it to promote. So essentially, if it gets to the 8th rank, or if you're black, the 1st rank, because black is going down, white is going up, technically. Regardless of, well, it's not regardless of, but the point is from which side you see the board, with which pieces you're playing with. If it gets to the furthest rank away from it, from the starting position, it can promote to any other piece except the king. So even though the pawn is the weakest link in the army, it can become a queen someday. How it captures, so it can move forward, but it can also capture either of these opponent's pawns. And the last thing we need to discuss is the king. The king can move in any direction but just one square. It's the most important piece because there is something called checkmate, which is if the king is attacked and it has no defense, it has nowhere to go to, nowhere to run, the game ends in so-called checkmate. So if the king is attacked, it's called check. If the king is attacked and it has no defense, has nowhere to go, nothing to do, then it's checkmate, which ends the game. This is all for now. Stay tuned for the next lesson.